Hello, viewers of the National Television. Welcome to this English news edition. I'm Fabian. Here are top stories. The year 2025 marked a significant milestone, the consolidation of democracy in Burundi through the organization. The year 2025 marked a significant milestone in the consolidation of democracy in Burundi through the organization of legislative and the local election. This was stated by Prosper Ntahogwamiye, President of the Independent National Electoral Commission, at the opening of a 3-day workshop bringing together stakeholders in the electoral process. The opening of Lake Avenue, which had become passable due to rising waters of the Lake Tanganyika, is imminent. The Lebanese company TSCC began the redevelopment work this Wednesday. Those are headline details now. The Council of Ministers met this Wednesday under the chairmanship of President Evariste Ndayishimiye. The agenda included, among other things, the revision of the law of the seed sector, the organization of public drinking water and sanitation services, the restructuring of the Court of Auditors, and the ratification of energy agreement between Burundi and Morocco. A full report will be available later. On Tuesday, the first Vice President of the Senate, General Rose Ngendanganya, accompanied by several members of the Parliament, visited the communes of Shombo and Karusi. The purpose of the visit was to listen to citizens' concerns regarding their living conditions. During her visit, she urged local officials to pay particular attention to the well-being of the people they govern. Details with Jiva Ndayishimiye.
This meeting was organized by the representatives of the people from the National Assembly and the Senate under the leadership of the first Vice Speaker of the Senate, General Ngendanganya, that took place in Shombo Commune, Gitega Province. The meeting brought together parliamentarians and the local administrators, including chiefs of zones, chiefs of hills, and the head of key public sectors in the zone. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss the challenges hindering the development and well-being of the population. In her address, the first Vice Speaker of the Senate emphasized the urgent need to tackle the challenges threatening the country's vision for citizen development. Several responses were provided to address the concerns raised by local officials. On the same day, a similar meeting was held in Mubaragaraza Zone, Karusi Commune, Gitega Province. Representatives of the people from both the National Assembly and the Senate answered many pressing questions from the local population. Among the concerns raised were the functioning of head chiefs, shortages of medicines in health centers, challenges in schools, including the lack of teachers and desks, tea growers who have not yet been paid for last season's production, and others.
On Wednesday, the Independent National Electoral Commission opened a 3-day workshop in Gitega, the political capital, bringing together stakeholders in the electoral process. The objective is to assess the conduct of the 2025 elections. Prosper Ntahogwamiye, President of the Senate, stated that 2025 marks an important milestone in the consolidation of democracy in Burundi through the organization of election of communal councils, councillors and members of parliament and the district and the neighborhood chiefs. The 2-day forum bringing together representatives of national Olympic committees of African countries concluded this Wednesday in Bujumbura. The main objective of this meeting was to strengthen the fight against gender-based discrimination in sport. Participants called on African states to implement programs and laws that facilitate the participation of women and girls in sports activities. Details.
During this forum, which brought together representatives of sports committees from several African countries with the goal of eradicating gender-based discrimination in the field of sports, the second and final day was dedicated to exchanging ideas on the forms of marginalization faced by women and girls in various sport disciplines, as well as discussing possible solutions. Participants emphasized that cultural traditions and social perceptions remain the main barriers to female participation. In certain communities, a girl involved in sports is still seen as having abandoned values traditionally associated with women. They recommended that each representative commit actively to promoting the dignity of women in their respective countries by advocating for the adoption of inclusive laws and policies that ensure equal access for women and girls to sports activities on par with men. However, they acknowledged the progress made in several African countries where women's divisions now exist within many male-dominated federations, although the level of development remains insufficient.
Yes, that was Jackson Irakoze reporting. As I said, the opening of Lake Avenue, which had become impassable due to the rising waters of Lake Tanganyika, is imminent. The Lebanese company KCC began the redevelopment work this Wednesday. A two-day workshop organized by the Ministry of Health through the Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation Services Improvement Program concluded this Wednesday. The objective of the meeting was to assess the progress of the physical rehabilitation sector. Dr. Jean Dodier Havyarimana, coordinator of the National Integrated Program for the Control of Chronic Non-Communicable Disease, indicated that buildings adapted for people with disabilities will soon be built in health centers. Jivan Ndashime for more details.
During the workshop organized by the Ministry of Public Health as part of the National Program for Prevention and the Control of Non-Communicable Diseases, special attention was given to the field of physical and rehabilitation medicine. The main objective was to assess the progress already achieved in this sector, identify the challenges encountered, and define actions to strengthen the knowledge and the skills of professionals. Participants from the physical and rehabilitation medicine sector had the opportunity to enhance their practices through group work, exchanging ideas and discussing ways to advance the field. Dr. Jandodje Havzarimana, head of the National Program for the Prevention and the Control of Non-Communicable Diseases, stated that the main goal of the workshop was to analyze the current progress of the sector and carry out a self-assessment. The workshop also highlighted several challenges, including the lack of specialized personnel, insufficient infrastructure and equipment, and limited attention to people living with disabilities. Trainers emphasized to participants the importance of prevention while highlighting the need for appropriate patient care through the promotion of adapted physical exercises. Held over 2 days, these training sessions brought together health professionals as well as associations and institutions working for people with disabilities. The workshop was supported by the UNICEF.
More than 350 people received free screenings for diabetes and high blood pressure this Wednesday at Notre Dame de la Miséricorde Hospital in Musaga. This activity is a part of a campaign organized by the Ministry of Public Health through the National Program for the Control of Non-Communicable Disease in the lead-up toward the Diabetes Day celebrated each year on November 14. Details with Gato Gato.
These residents went to Notre Dame de la Miséricorde Hospital, located in Musaga, to be screened for diabetes and high blood pressure. This activity was organized by the Ministry of Public Health through the National Program for the Fight Against Non-Communicable Disease, in collaboration with partners contributing to the fight against this disease. This campaign is part of the celebration of World Diabetes Day. According to Emilie Inarukundo, director of Notre Dame de la Miséricorde Hospital, which is actively involved in the fight against non-communicable disease, the main symptoms of diabetes are dry mouth, frequent urination, especially at night, and body weakness. As for people suffering from high blood pressure, they may experience headaches, dizziness, and visual disturbances such as blurred vision. The director advises the population to exercise regularly and adopt a balanced diet low in sugar. Some participants in the screening expressed their gratitude to the Ministry of Health for organizing this activity and wished that similar campaigns would also be conducted for other diseases. The screening will continue this Thursday at the headquarters of the Ministry of Public Health and on Friday at the Uyenzi Parish. World Diabetes Day will be celebrated this Friday under the theme "Let's Care for People Living with Diabetes Wherever They Are."
Well, end of this news edition. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching our programs. Bye-bye.